Hey, what's up everyone? Foxy here, and we might actually finally have Righteous Fire. Now, every season of Lastepoch, I have used Aura of Decay to try and make Righteous Fire work, and I've had pretty good results, but they've all been kind of like the knockoff Timu version of Righteous Fire. For those who don't know what Righteous Fire is, it's basically a big circle of fiery death that as you run, everything dies you run into. Now, Aura of Decay gets you pretty close, but that's poison. I tried it with Bleed, and that was pretty good as well. But now we finally have these lovely boots here. So what they do, and don't worry about all this unique items. This is how I'll tell you how my process is. But basically, this is the unique item that is going to allow us to actually have Righteous Fire. So what these boots do is basically convert Aura of Decay into fire. And why is that cool? Well, one, you also get to throw in volatile zombies. So basically, as they run into and explode, they have a chance to resurrect. And because they're fire and we've got lots of fire synergies, we can now fully go into fire as opposed to poison or physical, which we did last time. And this is going to give us some benefits that I'll go into shortly. Also, you've got a nice added bonus of one of the biggest problems I had with these builds is they're a little bit squishy, and having that fire damage over time leached as health is going to be quite a big deal as well. So, how's this going to work? Well, first of all, as I said, ignore these uniques. I will explain them later. It's part of a process. Don't worry about it. We're going to go into skills. And I'm just going to take you through basically what I'm thinking on these skills. And this video is going to be more of a theory craft of how I think it's going to work. And if you guys are enjoying this, let me know. I'll show you how I actually build it as we go through the league. Every league I do this, and I normally get good results. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. So first of all, what's great about having fire version of Aura of Decay? Well, first of all, you've got a few scaling factors, and that's what you really want to do when you're looking at builds, is how can you scale them? Intelligence is basically shared across all these spells at skills, as well as fire. So now we can scale fire, we can scale intelligence, and everything's going to basically buff off that, which makes it really easy to scale. So first of all, just to show you some key things that are going to be great, is Fume Weaver. So basically, as your intelligence goes up, you're going to have your enemies are going to have less fire resistance. Now, lots of people scale damage up, but they forget to reduce the forget to reduce the resistances on the enemy that you're fighting. And that's a multiplier that times your damage when you do that. So having this is going to be huge because you're basically going to multiply your damage against enemies because they're going to have Soddle fire resistance. Also, you've got Poison Seed over here, which basically is going to be one of those things that I say, feel it out. As you get stronger, you're going to be able to use this, but basically this starts stacking faster and faster and faster, and you do faster and faster ignites, bigger and bigger ignites, and can do some crazy scaling in late game. But this is one of the things that as you're leveling, you're going to want to be a little bit careful here. You probably want to go left first and start to dabble in this as you get a bit better regen. And then up here, there's some really fun things as well. So I mentioned about the volatile zombies. They're going to be summoned as part of this build. This is going to give a more multiplier on that damage within Aura of Decay, which is what we're going to always want these zombies to die in our Aura of Decay, doing more damage when they explode, more explosions, more ignite, more fire. And because we're converting everything to fire, it all scales, as I mentioned. So they're kind of the highlights on this. I don't want to make too long a video, but that's the highlight on this one. Sacrifice is going to be great because that's going to allow us to basically pop our zombies quicker. And also you get some really nice buffs here. So you get a global increased damage over time. This is increased, but actually the tooltip says more. So it should be more damage over time, which is great. And then we've also got increased damage over time when we use this as well. So this is going to be pretty low effort build, right? We're going to be looking to, as a true Righteous Fire build should be, as minimal button input as you like, but with the ability to press more buttons if you want to do more damage, which is the kind of builds I like. So this one is basically the only button you're going to want to press every now and again. Keep these buffs going. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You're just going to lose a bit of DPS. That's it. Summon volatile zombies. Now this, again, at first you're going to have to press the volatile zombies, but we're looking to go and grab the chance to resurrect the minions basically on death here, and that's Infernal Shade, so I'll explain that in a second. But basically this is going to resurrect them on death, so is your boots. So there's a few synergies here where your zombies are going to keep coming back, so you're going to have to press this button a lot less, which I love. And something fun here is the vomiting. So, never thought I'd say that. So basically, this will allow us to get our zombies to vomit fire, basically, onto our enemies just before they explode. And this is going to stack with our maximum mana. Now we're looking at around 200 mana without really any adding mana to our gear at all, other than that just comes on our gear. So this is going to be quite a significant ignite chance, because you've got to remember this is all going to be converted to fire. So that's going to be huge for stacking ignite as well. So that's going to be really, really good. And also we get more ward here. So we're going to be a ward build, which is why our health's going to be a bit low. It's going to look a bit sketchy on the EHP if you looked at the stats, which is the effective hit pool. But basically, we're going to be huge on ward, and this is the build I kind of done in the last season, and it worked really well. Next, we're going to look at Hungering Souls. And the good thing about Hungering Souls is, again, we don't have to press the button that much because I'm trying to automate as much as we can. So let me just quickly go down the tree for you. So this is just some basic spell damage, converting it into fire and into ignite and fire pen, which I explained earlier is very, very good. This is going to give us a chance to get a bit of mana back in case we're a bit mana starved. And some of these things I'm going to have to tweak, which is why this is more of a theory craft. But also, when you directly cast this ability, you have a chance to cast it twice in succession. So it basically procs again. And here, you have to also have a chance to cast Hungering Souls when you're hit. So basically, you're going to run into the enemy with your fire. If anything gets through, they're going to punch you. You're going to get Hungering Souls go out and hit them again. And if you really want to keep going at them, you've got the volatile zombies exploding onto them. And then finally, we've also got the Infernal Shades. And the Infernal Shades, so what that is basically is you target the enemy, and all enemies take damage over time. So this scales with fire and damage over time, as does our Aura of Decay, so that's another synergy in scaling. Again, we're going to look at Ignite Chance per second, and Fire Pen, always important. And just some basic damage multipliers here. Nothing too sexy about this one, but it does a lot of damage, basically, is why we're bringing this in. And also, when it dies again, it has a chance to reattach. Now, the fun thing about this is also our Hungering Souls, no, not our Hungering Souls, our Volatile Zombies, apologies, have the ability to cast Infernal Shade on death as well, and that's a 100% chance. So basically, we're running at the enemy, we get hit by Hungering Souls, we're casting a Volatile Zombie, and then after that, they'll start resurrecting themselves. As they die, they're going to start Infernal Shading things around them. And the only real button we're going to be pressing is Sacrifice to keep that damage over time buff. And you might have to occasionally press one or two of these buttons as you go. That's for the end game. Early game, you're going to be pressing a lot more buttons, but as you go along, you're going to start automating more and more of this. So what about the actual passive tree? So I always go these days Lich for this, and I'll explain why. There's a few really powerful synergies with Lich with this tree. So first of all, you've got the corrupted form that gives you a boatload of health, but the downside is you only can have 50% ward and 50% health. But the upside is you always count as at low life, and at low life you can do lots of very interesting things. So one of the things is this one, Dance with Death. You get increased damage 40%, but you get triple that at low life. We're always at low life. So that is going to be triple, 120% increased damage. That's insane. Also, we're going to have a Curse Feast, which says basically leech. You do massive leeching, except it ends at 66% health. We can only get to 50% health. We never hit that 66. So we're always leeching this amount of health. So we're leeching tons and tons of health. And then we've also got more missing health gained as ward. We're always missing 50% of our health, so that's going to be all gained as ward. We're going to be stacking as much intelligence as we can, as I mentioned earlier. That's going to stack with our skills, as they're all intelligence-based skills, so they're all going to stack on that. And that's going to be a huge multiplier as well there. This one I've purely taken to get the delayed hit from bosses and rares. This is quite nice. If you get into a bit of a rough situation with a sort of a pinnacle boss or some really big rares, this buys you some time to heal it all back up, which you're going to be able to do with all that leech. And this one, this is new. I don't normally go for this one, but I think the elemental penetration is going to be quite big, and obviously the intelligence is really good for us. Acolyte, not too much interesting here. We're going to basically be increasing our damage and draining our health, and missing health is going to go as ward. You get the theme. Again, these are sort of ward decay thresholds, so we're going to increase our ward decay so we don't lose it as quickly. And we're going to have a bit of more ward retention as well. And these together basically allow us to maintain a bit higher ward, a bit more intelligence, and a bit of resistances. Necromancer, we have to get 10 points to get the sacrifice. What I've done here is stacked our health, stacked our intelligence, and also we consume our minions' health on potion use, which is great because we want our minions to explode. So that helps our minions explode quicker and a bit more ward retention. Finally, for the Warlock, we're going to go for more damage over time and health. The cursing's is going to be a bit of a wet fish there. And then obviously more fire damage and ignite chance for fire spells. And again, more intelligence. So that's the passive tree. So now the gear. The gear looks really weird. And this is how I do my builds. So you guys don't have to follow this. But basically, I try to work out what is the best thing I can put in each slot. And then I work backwards from there on how I'm going to level it and stuff like that. So if you guys enjoy this guide, let me know. I'll show you the actual process of leveling. But for now, I stuck in some uniques that I want to try out. I don't think all of them are going to make the grade. Obviously, we have to have these boots, as I mentioned. This is amazing. This is going to be locked in for me, I think. Basically, we lose 20% of our health a second. We're already losing all our health anyway. But we're also going to gain back that missing health as ward. And it's missing health. So again, we're missing 50% of our health always. So 20% of that is going to immediately become ward. So that's great. We also get immunity bleed at low health. Always at low health. Cool. Don't worry about the affixes at the top, the LP. We're not going to get free LP anytime soon. I was just trying a few numbers out just to check it was viable at very late game. You're not going to be getting this anytime soon. Don't worry about that. This weapon here is really, really good for us. It basically increases all of our skills because they're all intelligence skills by 4, which gives us loads of points, gives us a ton of intelligence. And we also get a chance to cast Flame Ward, which is the other Righteous Fire build this season. But we're going to get that randomly as well on top of our other Aura of Decay Righteous Fire. And it gives spell damage to us and our minions, which is going to scale our volatile zombies. And it gives increased spell damage and minion damage. So, amazing weapon for this build. This helmet, I always stick in as well, because the problem with Acolyte is we're really, really squishy. This gives us quite a bit of armor, gives us intelligence again, but it also gives us 1 ward per second per 3% uncapped necrotic resistance. And this is something we can scale as necessary to increase our ward per second. So that's a nice little defensive. This amulet is pretty good. It gives us fire damage, all attributes. It also curses the enemy. So they take 20 spell fire damage when they hit another target, but it does not stack. It's just a pretty good curse that goes on top. It synergizes with our fire. This one here, this increases our minion skills, which is nice. This one, I think it might be replaceable. I think this might be a candidate for not using a unique in the slot and using a really good exalted item potentially. So this one I think is a flexible slot, but for now I've put that in. This one again, I think it could be a flexible slot for us. I like this one because basically it means we're guaranteed to basically resurrect our zombies over and over again, which is nice quality of life. And it gives a bit of more minion spell damage as well, which scales well with volatile zombies. And then this one I think is actually probably a bit of a better ring. It gives us a chance to get 2 ward per ignite on the target and us. That's going to probably get maxed out pretty quickly, I think. So that's a good ring as well. But again, I think these are candidates for maybe exalted rings instead, or a red ring if you get lucky. This one here, this is the belt. So this belt is does ignite us, but to be honest, we're going to be igniting ourselves so much. So this one we're going to have to play by ear. I think this one's going to be okay because basically we're going to be regenerating a lot as it is. It also gives us spell damage for our fire skills, which is going to be big. And a few other nice things, like it cleanses all ailments on us on potion use. So it will clear all the poison we might have on us or whatever else could be there. So that's actually quite a useful thing. And it increases ignite duration, which again is a multiplier to our damage. Finally, I believe, is these two. So again, Burning Avarice. I like the look of this because it gives us a bit more leech's health and a bit more fire pen. But I think this one, again, could be dropped for exalted item, which is why I said don't worry about all these uniques. These are kind of like testing grounds for the theory crafting. I'm going to try them, and if I don't like them, I'll chuck them out and put an exalted in or replace them for a different unique. And again, this one here, this one's pretty good actually. It gives us critical strike chance, which we don't have much in this build. It also gives us a bit of stun chance for those fire spells, which is good defensive. It gives us increased health regen, resistances, and increased fire. So that's pretty good as well. Now, I picked this idol setup because I like pyramids. And no, because actually I think these are probably our best idols. So it's a chance to apply Ignite on hit, and that's basically most of our damage is going to be going through Ignites. It gives us Fire Pen, damage over time, and chance to play Frailty on hit, so enemies don't hit as hard. And the Corrupted thing, I was just kind of thrown there just to see what there was. I wasn't too excited by the Corrupted things for this build, but there are some cool ones for other builds. Maybe I've missed something. I'll probably find out as we go along. So I put these in. I kind of played between having increased damage over time and increased fire damage. I actually think increased fire damage is probably better because it applies to all our spells, where damage over time only applies to Aura of Decay. But, you know, we can put a little bit of each in and see how it feels. These just give us a bit more health and health regen, a bit more fire pen, and this gives us more ignite duration, a bit of ward decay and ward per second, again damage over time, and fills out our fizz resistance. And yeah, that's about it. I'll just quickly show the blessings. These are just filling in our resistances because at the moment I haven't really got much on our gear. Actually, I've got a bit of crit avoidance there because you kind of need that late game. Got a chance to apply shred fire resistance, which again is very, very good for our build, and a bit of cold resistance. So that's basically the long and the short of it. I find these offense defense a bit sketchy in this tool because it's very hard to then translate that to the real world. I've done a very similar build every league, so I know it works. What I don't know is just how far we can push it this league, and I'm going to have to fiddle with things. If I need to be more tanky, we're going to have to swap some of these damage out for maybe more health, more ward per second, or we might have to rejig a few things. So as I said, if you enjoyed this, please do let me know if you want to see that guide, and I'll put one together if people are interested enough. Yeah, so I think this is going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be doing it. If you've enjoyed this, feel free to chuck us a like, and if you really like this, chuck us a subscribe. That'd be grand. And I'm glad to be back making YouTube videos. For now, see you on the other side, and hopefully with a big fiery ring around us. Bye for now.